Hello, Year 9. Here we have, I've been getting asked this quite a bit. Question 2 from the miyimaths homework. I'm going to do a few examples here for you, and we'll see if you can go back and get a better score on the miyimaths task. So, the question is, make x the subject of these equations. So, the first one I'm going to do is y equals x over x minus 5. In this one, we apply the same method pretty much every time we're applying the same method. The method is that you multiply by whatever is in the denominator to rearrange so that you get something that's easier to work with, like in question 1. So over here you can see if you have y equals something on top divided by something on the bottom, a can be anything, b can be anything. If you multiply by b, a over b times b, the b's will cancel, so you'll just be left with a on the right-hand side. And then if you multiply y times whatever's in the denominator, you'll end up with y times b, whatever's in the denominator on the left-hand side. Okay? So that's what we're going to do first. At that point, you can go and do it the exact same as question 1. You expand. You get all the x's on one side, and you get everything else on the other side by adding and subtracting terms. Then you factorize out the x and divide, just like before. Okay? If you want a recap on this, go back to Friday's video and you can check it out there. So let's get started. So in the first one, what's our denominator? Our denominator is x minus 5. So we are going to multiply it by the denominator on both sides. What we'll be left with is y multiplied by x minus 5 on the left side, and the denominator is going to cancel, so we end up with just x on the right-hand side. From here, just like before, next, we expand. Y times x minus 5 times y equals x. After we expand, we need to get all the x's on one side and everything else on the other side. So, if we add 5y to both sides, and we subtract x from both sides, this is the result. Yx minus x equals 5y. We factorize now. We factorize out the x on the left side. When we do that, we end up with x bracket y minus 1. And we still have 5y on the right. And now we divide out whatever's in front of x. So we divide out the y minus 1 on both sides. So x equals 5y divided by y minus 1. Okay? Let's go back and try another one. The next one I'd like to do is the third one on this list. Y equals a minus 6x over bx plus 9. Okay, let's have a look at the answer for this one. So, just like before, multiply by the denominator. Our denominator is bx plus 9. So it becomes y times bx plus 9 on the left. And on the right, we're just left with whatever in the numerator, a minus 6x. Now we need to expand. The expansion is y bx plus 9y. We multiply both of these by y. And after that, we need to get all the x's on one side and all the non-x's on the other side. So we need to bring this minus 6x over here to make it plus 6. And we bring the 9y on the other side to make it minus 9y. Here it is. Now we factorize the x. So x times by plus 6, that is factorizing out the x. And the last step is to divide by whatever the coefficient of x is. So in this case, we're going to divide by by plus 6. And here's the end result. A minus 9y divided by by plus 6. Okay? Let's go back. The final one I'd like to look at is the last one. The last one you have to be a little bit clever before you proceed with our method. Let's see what we have to do. For the last one, we don't have it in the form we want. We want it to be something divided by something else, okay? So we actually have to add together these two fractions first so that we can get it into that form. What's the common denominator of our fractions? Well, it's 4 for the left one and x for the right, so our common denominator is 4 multiplied by x. The left one we have to multiply by x on the top and the bottom to get an equivalent fraction. And on the other one we have to multiply by 4 on the top and the bottom to get an equivalent fraction. And here it is. So we've found a common denominator of 4x, and we've used equivalent fractions to generate our fractions. Now we simply add the numerators and keep the denominator the same, just like when adding fractions. So our numerator is wx plus 24 divided by 4x, our common denominator. All of that equals 9. Now we follow the same method as before. We need to multiply by the denominator, in this case, 4x. So we end up with wx plus 24 equals 36x. Bring all the x's to one side. This time I'm going to bring wx over to the right so that I can keep this a positive 24. So we end up with 24 equals 36x minus wx. Factorize x times 36 minus w, and divide out whatever's in front of x. So 24 divided by 36 minus w is equal to x. And this is how you rearrange when the subject appears twice and you have some fractions involved. Okay? Now, if you'd like to try the other two on your own, please feel free. And here are all the answers. Okay, so now I recommend going back and trying it again, trying the miyimaths homework again, see if you can get a better score. Goodbye.